Hello, hello, guys. How are you doing? Happy Friday. Um,
Happy
you guys are
Friday.
lucky today.
We're so excited. It's Friday. We hope you guys are as excited as us.
We are going to give it just a few minutes to go ahead and hit the live button on Instagram. And then, of course, let all the platforms notify everybody that the time has come. It is time for another podcast recording. So,
Time has
um,
come.
what'd you say?
The time has come. We've been just waiting for this all week.
I'm seeing if I can. Oh, there we go. Turned up my volume. I feel like it's going to be one of those days where I'm like, what? What did you say? Okay, so hi guys. This is another session of our Heat Press for Profit podcast. I'm Kelly Walters, and I'm so excited that Jenna Sackett is the guest slash host, co-host for today. And we are talking about heat printing trends, what we're seeing forecasted in the industry, but really how we turn that information into education when we are either doing events, partner collaborations, recording for YouTube, webinars, anytime we are doing any type of education, how do we take what we're seeing and translate it? So, Jenna, thanks for joining me today. I'm so excited that it's you and me.
I know. I love doing a podcast with you. And I always know that it's going to be like fun and engaging for everyone, but not in a sense of like we're going to be talking about like good stuff, but because something always goes wrong or something always happens when we're on a podcast together. So
I know. I kind of love it though. It keeps it
yeah.
fresh for a Friday. So you guys know the drill. As you're tuning in live, please pop in the comments who you are, where you're tuning in from, so we can say hi. And
Yeah, I
of
see 18
course,
viewers on our end. We're on, okay, let's see. We're on 2 Facebooks.
yep,
We're on LinkedIn,
yep,
2 YouTube channels, and Instagram.
yeah.
So
And I think that's it.
comment in. I want to see where everybody's joining us from.
So as we are going through today's session, conversation, topic, whatever you want to talk, whatever you want to call it, there will be some times where we are asking the viewers to give us a little bit of feedback as well. That way we can, one, see if it is a connection or correlation to what we're seeing, and then of course we love to hear from those of you that enjoy education, attend education. We want to hear what it is you also kind of want to see for, the upcoming year. We are definitely hardcore in planning of 2025, but really for the next like 9 months, not just the first quarter of 2025. So there's an extensive amount of prep that goes into what you see at shows, what you see at education, just really kind of anything that has the group stall brand on it. If you guys don't know, Jenna has been doing education for like how long?
Since 2015.
So almost 10 years of education. So when we are really thinking about, what we're talking about, what we're teaching, there is a ton of information that really gets packed into what we're showing, why we're showing it, and of course the point, right? What solution is it providing? Where does it put you guys in terms of preparation for the next quarter, next 6 months, next year? And really, where can you see yourself shift or pivot in your business? So, Jenna, with our Fort Worth education, Long Beach, all of your partnerships, the YouTube videos that we've been doing, that we've been planning, where are you kind of seeing this transition in our industry from equipment, materials, products, blanks, garments? What are you seeing?
So what I'm seeing, and it's not really a transition as much as it is what I would consider an expansion,
Mm,
because customization has been around for decades, right? This isn't a new concept. It's not something that people are just coming up with. It's a boom in how people can do customization differently that is unique to their brand, unique to their business, that makes their customers buy in, right? So customization and being able to connect with people on more of an emotional level as opposed to a transactional level, I think is why this boom is going so big, right? And so I'm calling it a customization boom because it's literally like everyone is honing in on a specific niche, craft, target audience, whatever you want to call it, and making it unique to their customer, and they're having a ton of success with it. So when I'm talking with blank apparel partners, for example, they are working on their own form of customization. How can they craft apparel for their audience? So if we look at folks like Lane 7, for example, they really want to speak to TikTok influencers in the music industry, and even like those big like churches like Elevation Church, for example, right? So you and I just were working on a little project for that to help our customer customize something for them, right? So like they're doing specific customization research for these certain areas so that they can hone in on this and elaborate on it and feed that specific audience. So honestly, like I don't think it's really a transition. It's more of like an expansion of customization and those unique things that you can do at your heat printing business, your embroidery business, that speaks more to your customer on an emotional level, as opposed to just being the decorator that just takes the order and fills the order and then we're done, right?
Yeah. Do you think with customization that like our world as a whole is getting back more to relationship focused versus
I do.
quick, fast quantity?
Honestly, I think it's a mix. I think that there is a need for get the order in, get the order out. There are just some customers, like they come to you because they know that they can get an X product from you, and then they want that product and they want to be done with their order and they want to move on. We're in like any industry you're in, it's fast paced, right? We're in a very fast pace. We're working with a lot of different customer types. And if they know that we have what they need, then sometimes it is just transactional. But that's where I encourage people to take a customer like that just wants a transaction from you and just write it off, right? Like talk to them about a different product. Talk to them about something new. Show them something new. Like, hey, you might not need this right now, but just want to give you a sample of this. This might be something that you could use for gifting this holiday, right? So there's a lot of different conversations that I think that can evoke more creativity and maybe imagination for your customer that allows you to get more customizable with them. But it's just knowing like how to target it and expand on that. But I genuinely do think it's a mix. I see a lot of people evoking more emotion because social media has really shifted that way, where influencers, TikTokers, creators, whatever you want to call them, people that are in front of the camera and have an influence on someone else with what they're wearing. We're looking at more unique and personable stuff. Like people don't want to just go buy something like fast fashion. I want something that's a little bit more meaningful and unique that they can get a lot of wear out of. And I think that that's stuff we should be considering as heat printers, whether that's t-shirts, hoodies, hats, whatever it might be. Like, how can we make this more unique to the buyer?
That's, I think, one of the, in a world of so many options, right? Like, how do you make it more unique, even more unique to your niche, right? Because at this point, like, especially in the heat printing industry, anyone could start a t-shirt business tomorrow. And that's kind of like the beauty of being able to pivot, especially with heat printing, where there's other types of decoration processes where you really couldn't just start tomorrow. There's skills and a bunch of different labor understanding that you have to learn before you are able to just, start and go with heat printing. You have this giant, powerful panini press, plug it in, turn it on, and boom. You know what I mean?
Panini press.
Panini press. A pizza
Um,
roller.
yeah, and that's the thing. I think that, we have Candy here who just commented and said, we are 22 years in the customization business. I bet you Candy is like an expert in all things customization. She knows who her target audience is, who wants the customization. And to do that well and be in business for 22 years, that's incredible. Like, shout out to Candy. That is incredible, because we are seeing a lot of people that look into starting this and they think they can start it overnight. And in some scenarios, maybe they got lucky with a video online and something blew up, but that's not a big percentage of this industry. It is hard workers who put in the time and work, invest in good quality equipment, or toss out their screen printing equipment, right? Like Andy also just commented, she tossed out their screen printing equipment. Now she uses Transfer Express transfers. Game changer. It is a game changer, but it's getting in the industry, working with all of it, learning do's and don'ts, maybe duplicating what other people are doing well and making it your own. There's a lot that goes into it. And some people that enter the industry do think it can happen overnight, but it is a lot. Like, you have to stay up on trends, right? Customization isn't just putting a name and number on a t-shirt anymore.
Right.
We look at big brands like Nike, for example, who is adding customization. And that's we look at them as just an apparel brand because they're very well known. That is a corporation. Nike is doing customization as a corporation in their stores now because they see the value in it. And when they can portray that value to people walking into their store, they're buying in, right? So for anybody that isn't aware about Nike and the customization they're doing, I have one of our brand partners that's in Soho this week, and he sent me a video yesterday of Nike having a customization station, right? And so they get to go up, pick the shirt that they want, pick the direct-to-film transfers that they want to customize their shirt with, and they're pressing them right there for them. And Nike's not the only one doing it. Adidas is doing it with unique shoelaces and charms and patches that they can put on their shoes. So it's about finding your thing and just focusing on that and making more of an experience through customization. I think that that's another part of the customization boom is now we're looking at more experience-based customization as opposed to you just going online and adding a name and a number to a shirt.
So with everything that you're seeing, and for those of you guys that don't know, Jenna does a lot of partner event education. She does education for stalls and Transfer Express. She does it at all of the big, our big industry trade shows, conferences. So she's done a ton of in-person education as well as doing thousands of videos on YouTube. So when it comes to planning out our education from, say, ASI to maybe something like GPX impressions, anything additional if we're doing education at a partner event, how do you decide the type of conversation to have? If it's about customization and personalization, that might be different, say, at a GPX show versus an impression show versus ASI.
Yeah. I would say the same way that we preach over and over and over again to our customers about knowing your audience, we have to do the same thing. And so there are so many trade shows in this industry, and they all serve an important purpose. And it's about being able to hone in on what you want to do. So maybe that's promotional products for local businesses and corporations. That's where we recommend ASI. Get into that promo industry, learn the ins and outs of it. Everyone there, as far as educator goes, has been so deep in it for years that you're hearing from not just experts that have been speaking on it, but it's created such a great network, even of people who are there supporting each other and helping each other make money.
Sure.
And all of these trade shows are set up to do that. One of my biggest compliments to this industry is that everybody has each other's back, and that's what makes working in this industry so great. And all of these trade shows are set up to do that for specific audiences that are targeting a specific customer type, right? So ASI promo, PPAI promo. They do a phenomenal job of bringing in good groups to help set you up for success. They bring us in to help people get started with a heat press and be able to, or not even just get started with a heat press anymore, because that's not, I actually don't want to say that. I retract my statement. Yes, you can just get started with a heat press. It is a low barrier to entry. It's a great way to get started. But we're starting to see people expand their businesses with heat printing now.
Sure.
Technology has just grown in so many different ways. But hey, that's a different conversation for another time. I won't go down that rabbit hole because I could spend the rest of our time together talking about that. But there's a lot of industry challenges and opportunities, and all of these different trade shows allow us to speak to those in a certain category so that it makes sense for who's attending. And so we have to pivot our conversation for a promo decorator. Whenever we're talking about customization, we're going to be focusing on how that makes sense to do that with print on demand and setting up white label stores and understanding fulfill engine and order my gear, right? There's so many different like avenues that they take that are a little bit different than how someone who might be doing customization for
events.
There's so many examples, and now they're all like not in my brain. There's a lot of different customization options for like local teams and leagues that like anywhere from elementary school to high school. Maybe it's a local college bookstore, whatever it might be. There are certain opportunities and challenges to focus on each thing. So it's just pivoting and adjusting the conversation to fit those certain needs for those different audiences.
But you know what I think is so funny? Like, I know you said I retract my statement, but if you think about it, the education, content, everything that you have been creating over the last 12, 15 years, I know you're past 10, but how many times did you do like the basics, the entry, which is just fine. Everybody has to get started. There's nothing wrong with that. But just really getting people to understand the power of a press from the entry standpoint. But now we really are talking about technology. We talk about equipment. It's not just how to use or what to use. It's really the power behind it from everything. So to technology, for those of you that don't know, we have had more industry conversations on education on all platforms, in person, video, recorded, talking about technology, the power of technology, whether it is a cloud equipment, a physical piece of equipment to create the product. But also our conversation about AI isn't going anywhere. And at the end of the day, like I can use AI, right? But I'm not coding for AI. Like I haven't created any of that, but there's so much power behind that in our industry, from apps, additional services, less people, less staff, more work kind of situation.
Right. And you know what? I think AI is going to play a role in the industry as we see it grow. It's going to help with efficiency in production. It's going to help with efficiency in building stores faster, especially for those of us trying to create mock-ups so that customers can see what the product's going to look like. Like that's really going to help us in the long run. I'm excited to see where that goes because I think it could be very beneficial. I don't love, and if anybody disagrees with me in this, feel free to comment in. I don't love the concept of, oh, it's going to take away jobs because I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to add more skill to people who are already have jobs and don't have the time to take to learn another skill, right? Like we are busy people, right? We own businesses. We are always working hard. And so sometimes it like a lot of folks, unfortunately, don't have the luxury. I call it a luxury to be able to go to trade shows and sit in education and learn about this stuff or learn a new technology. Like if you're straight up just a heat presser, do you have the luxury of going to a trade show and learning if you need to expand into screen printing or embroidery or DTG, right? Like some people don't. And I think that AI can help build those skill sets a little bit more as opposed to take away from jobs. Yes, Courtney, AI should make jobs easier. I agree. There is so much business out there. Finding skilled workers is hard. Yes, so exactly. I think that there is a negative connotation to AI, but I think that we need to kind of shift that view and look at it from a different perspective. Like this could actually add to my business and make me more successful.
I agree. And I think that's the mindset and the shift that we all have to do no matter what it is, right? It could be industry pivot shifts, understanding technology. Like, you know, my early days, you know, you had the AIM chats, you had the dial-up internet. I mean, I didn't have a computer and then I had a computer, you know? So it's like,
and now we have walking computers.
Now I have walking tracking devices willingly, like multiple places. But you know, I mean, it's just one of those things that if you can figure out how to make it better. But I agree with you in terms of AI, and I know that's kind of like it's still a trend, right? But I think it will actually put more expectation on people to work faster. And anytime we work faster, we always get more put on us, right? And then now that we have I'm not going to say the ease of AI because it's always changing, but now that we have AI, some tasks you can get done quicker. Don't know how to respond to an upset customer? You can go to AI and tell it what you want, you know, like the tone, the keywords, and it will create an email for you. So imagine staring at your computer out of all of the feelings trying to construct, you know, but it's like, oh, I got that email down.
Sometimes I open up my Microsoft Outlook and I'm like, this is toxic. It's straight doom. I'm like, how do I reply to all of this? But seriously, like it is nice to know I have a tool to go to help formulate emails for me if I need it. It's great. And I see a lot of people utilizing AI in a way for like those responses. Like I know I'm not the only one looking at my email going, oh, I do not want to look at this right now. And just feeling straight overwhelmed, right? But automatic responses, like sharing links, like these are all things that can be set up. And I want to say it was Davis Slagle. I think you were there, so correct me if I'm wrong, but he did an entire education session at Shirt Lab here in Austin. And it was all about how he has his emails set up to just do auto replies based on keywords that people are emailing.
Yeah.
And so it's like just taking care of it for him. And then he has other people obviously like checking, because nobody wants to talk to a robot, right? Like that's transactional and not emotional, right?
Yep. Right.
So, but like they are able to like tailor it specifically based on keywords. And I'm like, that's incredible. Do you know how much time you just saved?
It's crazy. It really, it's like a beautiful, scary, crazy, beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Crazy, beautiful, terrifying thing. Okay, so I know we've got, let's see. Brian was tuning in earlier. What's up, Skip? He's on. Courtney, Candy, and then there's several others of you, others that haven't said hi yet. So hi, but
Welcome.
welcome. This is where I want to turn it back onto our viewers, the people that are listening, and I want to just quickly talk about the education that we'll be doing at Impressions. And then, like Jenna said, if you come to Impressions Fort Worth, the education that you're getting there may not be the exact same education we do at Impressions Long Beach. So for those of you that don't know, there's a lot of events and trade shows that we have to submit our education to. What that means is like we come up with the ideas, we come up with the topics, the description, the point of the conversation, submit it, and then if that gets approved by the
Coordinator.
yeah, and like the coordinator show, whatever, that's when that education is decided to be basically hosted or shown at those events or shows. So just because what we submit for Fort Worth, Long Beach, and Atlantic City of Impressions does not mean that the classes we do at Fort Worth would be picked up for Long Beach, would be picked up for Atlantic City. So you need to come to all three of them and say, I know, no. But my point to this is,
it'll be good for the tour.
yeah, you need to come for the tour. But what you see at, say, an impression show isn't going to be what you see at ASI. Like Jenna said earlier, it's about understanding the audience and adjusting the conversation. There might be something similar in it, but how does it make sense to those decorators that are attending that education for that event, that space, that venue, right? So, Jenna, you have a couple of not education classes, but aren't you're guest speaking on a couple of things, right?
Yes.
I'm like, I see the calendar, I've created the calendar, but what is different about, say, like the hour and a half education that you and I will do versus the shop talk conversations that you do?
Yeah. So the shop talk conversations are bite-sized chunks of just conversation between industry experts about a particular topic. So, for example, I'm going to be sitting down with Rick Roth. Shout out Rick Roth. We love you. And we're going to be talking about how to amplify your brand, right? And so I'm coming from Stalls, and we are all about heat print on demand, heat press technology, and how to create a competitive edge. But it's not just about that. Like, we're talking to so many different people in so many different avenues in Shop Talk, where you're just getting people from the show floor that are coming in to chill, hang out, listen to some good conversation, ask questions if they want to. So it's not going to be directly related to what I do day in and day out. So we're going to be talking about brand awareness, things that you can be doing for your brand that are giving you more of a competitive edge that is not about pushing product, right? There's a lot of ways to sell without selling. And so we're going to be just kind of sharing tidbits of people we know that are having success doing things one way. And then maybe this way is not going to work out for you, but something else might, right? So it's just sharing a lot of industry knowledge with Shop Talk that isn't so specific to one topic. Whereas those seminars, you're signing up for those based on the topic and the discussion that you signed up for, right? So you and I have a fun class. We're actually just very shocked that this one got picked up because it's a weird conversation.
It is, but it's fun.
Yeah, I know. You know what? We're gonna let those of you just be surprised, and then we'll talk about it after Fort Worth.
Yeah.
But it's one that Kelly and I were kind of like, wow, they picked this one up, and we need to talk about it for 90 minutes. And so we've created a really fun, interactive experience with it because we don't want death by PowerPoint by any means, but yeah, we have to talk about that specific topic and make it make sense.
And I think the biggest thing on that is, how can we say trends without saying the word trends, right?
Right.
Like there's trends for everything. There's style trends, there's printing trends, and I feel like sometimes the word trends gets like this
there's also
prima donna.
Yeah, it gets it wasn't always this way. Listen to me, like starting to stutter because
always this way.
It wasn't always like that, but now it is. It's really just we're just trying to suggest what we think is something new you should try. We're not saying this is the trend and you need to follow it, because if you don't, you're not going to make money. That's not what we're trying to say. We're trying to come up with new ways to do old things or things that we've been doing forever to either find a new revenue stream, fill a dead season, or just work with something new because you're sick of offering the same stuff, right?
Yep.
And so sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So we are finding a new way to talk about trends without saying trends.
Trends. So, okay, this is where we're going to give the floor to the people, but there's not really a way for you guys to join in verbally. So in the comments, tell us what type of education you would really like to see at shows through our webinars. We do through impressions only right now, and at this moment in time, it will be expanding and growing, but we do what's called Pro Day, and we've talked about it on our podcast. I'm pretty sure you can search Pro Day conversation or Pro Day and find those episodes. But we spend 3-4 hours in this live seminar of going over pricing, profit, application, trends. I'm like, I don't want to say it, but I said it. How to, the simplicity, the why. Like we spend a lot of time trying to dive as deep as we possibly can. Decorating progression.
Is that our new term for trends?
I know, Barb, I need more information. Is decorating progression education you want to see? Or is that what we are now calling trends? Because I'm kind of obsessed with decorating progression in multiple different facets of what that could potentially mean. But like with Pro Day, right? Like that's something we do at Impressions. We will be taking that to the road come 2025. I'm not going to give any other information because I don't have any other confirmed information at this moment, but just know it's coming. So in terms of what you will see, like everything kind of has to encompass this change, this pivot, the growth of the industry, but we do it in different forms. That decorating progression definitely threw me off my wheel and I had a hard time getting back on it. Let's see what she has
a good suggestion here. Design application waves.
Oh, is that a class or is that the trend? Because I like the waves notion.
I do too.
Because that shows the ups and downs, agree. Yes.
Yeah. Candy suggests good customer service skills. She focuses on what my customers want and offers options. Then it sells itself. So I think in a nutshell, that is market specific product and how to sell it. And I think that that is always a great topic for education because we do have such a vast audience and it's hard to pinpoint exactly who each customer or attendee is targeting. So sometime, I mean, with Pro Day now, we are putting it into buckets and trying to teach people how to sell specific product to different markets. So I do love that Candy's already doing that. Candy, do you want to just do our education at Fort Worth? You're going to be there. So why don't we just bring you up front?
She's going to be a Pro Day, so that we'll just have her pop on. Okay, so Skip had a great idea, and he said layering demonstrations, classes, mixed media applications, and this just creates a fuzzy, warm feeling in my heart, Skip, because I am a sucker for mixed media.
There's something crafty about it.
There is, and I think there's also like an artistic science behind it of what materials can create a certain texture, what materials can help another material, pop or be dimensional. And
signing up to be a part of our R&D.
Yeah. I know. I'm just gonna start sending things to Skip. Like, I need you to figure out how to make this come to life, because I love doing it as well. And Skip, that's actually a trend that I feel like I've been talking about. I felt like it was kind of like chenille. I talked about chenille for a while, and chenille's still here, right? And with mixed media, I've really just noticed it more and more and more in graphics. And I took a picture of my son's shirt the other day because the entire back looked like it was, say, a direct to film with 3 colors, and then it had this fashion film electric teal as the shark. And I was like, this just makes me so happy because everything was matte. It was on a waffle shirt, so there was a little bit of texture, coming through the media. But immediately right there, I was like, this is the stuff, like, we've got to talk about this. It's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but that would definitely be education that I would want to talk about at shows, just to give people the idea of, like, I know it's another step, but here's what it can do. Here's what it can create.
Yeah. I think too, and this is just me over here, wheels turning. I think that we should, the same way that we target newbies that are entering the industry and need to learn basics, we also need to target new marketers, like people who need to get on the marketing side of their business, because some of us are a single person running every department at our business. And so not only should you know how the product works and how you should be able to sell it and who you should sell it to, but how you can market it. How can you showcase this in your emails? How can you get people excited through email, right? We talk about AI being able to generate these things for you, but what product, how can you market it to these people? And so time and time again, not only do we find newer people in the industry attending our education to learn, but we also see big industry folks that have been around for decades sending new people from different departments of their business or their production, right? To go and learn as well. And so I think that having that avenue where it's like, okay, here's how you market it. Let's talk to you as somebody that is a social media manager or is just doing their website design. Like, how can you photograph this well? We have free samples take our samples. Here's how you can market it, right? So
Yeah.
there's just, I think that that's another avenue that is getting overlooked slightly.
For sure. That's, I mean, and going to the whole marketing thing, I think that's like another key in why a variety of education really makes sense. And especially for, we want to do it all, right? Like we as a whole with Group Stall, we pride ourselves on being, the experts in the industry.
Having the answer for everything.
Everything. Like, I don't know how to do it. Let me figure it out.
Let me figure this out.
Let me figure it out. But at the same time, I think there's also trust that comes with that because we can speak to a variety of different things. It's not just the adhesive on the back of a material that can be applied to cotton and polyester. It's understanding that there's different levels of polyester, different types of, transfers going on and on. So to that with impressions, we've got classes on headwear. We've got classes on graphic tees and just really understanding the decorating, what is it? Decorating waves of the industry. Phenomenal. I love it, Barb. And then also events, success with events, understanding the importance of e-commerce and outsourcing or anything cloud-based that can help you be more efficient with less in your business. Like those are all education classes that we have, at these industry trade shows. So it's not just about heat printing. It's not just about how do we market? Like, right, there's always an assortment. Heather said, will any of these classes be streamed online? Not for impressions. Some of the classes, like our webinars, those are always streamed. We do take a lot of nuggets from in-person education and transform that into 7-10 minute videos for YouTube. So you get some of it, but you don't get all of it because we do try to keep a lot of our in-person education separate. That way people don't feel like, oh, well, I just attended this class, why am I getting it on YouTube kind of situation. We definitely want to make sure that we've got a little bit of separation and exclusivity, especially if you are being invited or, paying to kind of attend a conference or a learning
I will say
event.
too, as a presenter, and I believe you've done this before too, where there are like 2 sessions happening at once. I've had people come into my session and say, would you mind like having a one-on-one with me to kind of review some of like the key points that you went over? And so that's something that we've never like strayed away from. We want to be able to share this information. So if there is a session there that you're absolutely like looking for that we've done, we're happy to like talk to you about it, maybe send you some of the notes
Sure.
from it. Yeah. So we never want to say no. So they're not really
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean we can't get you the information.
And Heather, when you say, will any of those classes be streamed online? If there's, like she just said, if there's certain things, let us know. Tell us in the comments, like, oh, I'd really love to see, Dane has a class on AI and art. Dane and Dave have a class on direct to film. Josh has a class on a couple of things, but one of them is also really understanding kind of like the power of e-commerce and what you can do. So all of those pieces, if you're wanting more education, more information, more support, because I think that's one thing that I pride ourselves in is supporting. Like we very much look at us as partners in this industry or even in your business. So the Heat Press for Profit group, there was a chat or a thread that I started maybe 6 months ago at this point, since we are in the middle of October, but it was really about questions. If you have questions, put it here, in this chat, because that's how we also form a lot of our content and education, is simply based on one question. You guys would be so, so, so surprised how one question can generate so much creativity or
a rabbit hole.
yes, for us. And I love it. Like, I'll take it all day. I feed on it. So the Heat Press for Profit group is an excellent way to kind of put that information, out there. Danielle is on the other side of us, for commenting and providing information and links out to everybody today. And you can always DM, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. I'm like, what are the other ones?
All of the medias.
All of them, right? If you're like, I would love to see this, you guys, she actually relays that information. The social team relays that information back to Jenna, myself, the content education team. That way we can actually get that information back out to you. So just know that I like to be very transparent, that we actually do want to hear from you. Like,
yeah, we do. And for those of you that are attending Fort Worth next week, we are very excited to see you guys there. We are starting to come up on our close here. But just wanted to say, keep an eye out, not just for the sessions, but there's going to be so much knowledge and expertise at this show. So take advantage of that, have those conversations, schedule meetings with the people that you want to meet with. Keep an eye out for new product launches, networking opportunities. There's always a lot of networking opportunities. So keep an eye out for after hours opportunities after the show. Some people do breakfast. So look for those networking opportunities where you can meet other people and grow and learn with them. And then of course, don't overlook your blank apparel providers. There are a lot of new products out there that are an exact replicate or duplicate of what people are seeing in retail and buying in big box retail stores. So keep an eye out for the future of custom apparel in that sense, because there's a lot of new product out there trending from a lot of the blank apparel manufacturers and suppliers. I would say those are my three things outside of obviously attending the education. Kelly, can you think of anything else they should be looking for?
No, I think that's the nail on the head. I did just see that Skip said that his messenger feed has more questions about decorating methods, applications than messages from friends. So I think it's just like the idea of keeping it simple. Like, don't overthink where to look, what to look for, kind of thing. Okay, I think that's it. Candy had a question, and it looks like Danielle answered it, so that's good. Well, we definitely talked about this topic longer than what I thought we would, but
25 minutes. Here we are, 25 minutes later.
But you know what? I love that we also have a new term or new phrase for trends, which is decorating waves. And progressions, I think, was the other one, decorating progressions. Yeah, Barb said, I like decorating waves. And that might have actually been from Skip. Yeah. He said design application waves. So we merged Barb's and Skip's new phrasing, and you're going to hear that from me a lot more is waves and trends. So you guys
ride this wave.
I know, let's ride that wave this weekend and have a fantastic time. It's Friday. You guys, thanks so much for hanging out with Jenna and myself. We really, really appreciate it. Like I said, if you guys think of something, please get that back to us in terms of, education, what you guys would like to see for 2025, things you're noticing. We will take any and all of these suggestions. So Jenna, thanks for taking time out of your Friday to join me.
Of course. There's no other place I'd rather be at 11 a.m. on Friday.
Same girl, same. All right, guys, we will see you later and have a fantastic weekend. Bye, guys.